So I didn't pay attention to the cutoffs as well as I should have. I have this segmented into key functions, which was pages 3 through 12, and then 13 and 14 were circles. So I have a description of this page at the very last part of the previous video, coming up with these centers and radii. And so take a look at that. I apologize, but here's all the answers based upon that, and you can see them worked out and talked through in the previous video. And so as we come here, we want to be able to graph circles. And so what are we going to do? We're going to first identify our center. Our center is at 0, 0. And our radius is 6. So I'm going to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units out in every direction from the center point. And then I'm going to do my best to create the circle that goes through all of those points. Now, it's not going to be perfect when you freehand it, but that's the graph of it. If I look at number 10 that's over here, we have a center point that is negative 4 units to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 units down, 2, 3. So that's our center point. Our center is at 4, negative 3. And so that's what we got. And then square root of 10. Now square root of 10 is really close to the square root of 9, which is 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 units out, but just go a little bit farther. 1, 2, 3 units out and a little bit farther. And that's the best we can do. The only thing that can do this perfectly is a graphing utility. And so it does go slightly above that axis, and we have the graph of that. And so we get to practice with completing the square again, which is good. So if I walk you through that process, what you want to do is we need to get this in a form that looks like number 10, where we have x minus something squared, y minus something squared, or x plus something squared. And so we got to get these to be perfect square trinomials. So I'm going to go up a little bit. And what you're going to do first is get your x's together. Then you're going to get your y's together. And anything that's not having an x or y, you're going to boot to the other side. So notice I'm going to put that 31 over on the right hand side. Then what you're going to do is add half the middle coefficient squared. So this could get a little bit ugly, and I'm sure you've seen that in your previous classes if the middle term's odd. But in this case it's not. So half of 4 is 2. Squared is 4. So remember what I did is I took half of that middle term and squared it. And that's what went in right there. Now if I put 4 on that left hand side, I got to balance it out by putting 4 on that right hand side. Now half of 12, and let me just take the sign with it, half of negative 12, because some will say, well, what did you do with that negative? I'm going to take it. You can take it or leave it because everything's going to square out. I'd have a negative 6 squared, which is positive 36, and that's what and it's always added, gets added there. Okay, so that's where those guys come from. So if you're right now, I'm going to erase all of this work so that I have places underneath. And so let me go back to a pen, and I'll go to blue. What we have is x plus 2, the quantity squared, right? Factors of 4 that add to be 4, 2 and 2. We did that perfectly. Factors of 36 that add to be 12 are 6 and 6. And that's why this is working out so well. So a negative 31 and a 36 is 5, plus 4 is 9. So that right up here is a rewrite of this number 11, which really helps us know where the center is. Center is at, I'll write it up here, the center is at negative 2, 6. So we go negative 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're there. Our radius is 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we draw our circle. Awesome. And then we have this guy. Here there are no other y terms. Don't let that freak you out. Don't do anything weird. Get your x's together. Put them in parentheses if there's more than one. Get your y's together. There's only one. And boot everything else over. And then we're going to take half of the middle coefficient. Half of 6 is 3, squared is 9. And we're going to add 9 to both sides. And we're going to get an x minus 3 squared plus y squared is equal to 6. And so what do we have? We have a center at 3, 0. 1, 2, 3, 0. Right there. And we have a radius of the square root of 6. Right? So we have that 6 here. So the radius is the square root of 6. And the square root of 6, well, it's more than 2 but less than 3. So for lack of a better way, we'll say 2.5. We'll just go about 2.5 out. Again, if we wanted to be perfect, we wouldn't be doing it by hand. We'd grab a graphing utility. This is all just for critical thinking and understanding and evaluation, which is a large part of what you do. That is this video that handles the circles that are found on pages 13 and 14 in your guided note.